We're in the Caesars outdoor pavilion, and they actually have a shooting range. Here's a portable range, MILO live fire systems.
So this is a tactical range. So you'll see the ballistic rubber tiles on the ceiling and the walls, and you can see that these have space behind them. So as you're traversing downrange, if you happen to pop a round off into the wall, it goes in and splats on the armor and doesn't come back out. As you're moving down, we have a ballistic covered drop down, our projector for our video simulation systems mounted on this. And then everything is projected on the screen. This is a ballistic rubber curtain. All these little marks are just dirt from the lead there, but these you can see
Nothing on the other side.
These are the holes.
Yeah.
So
self-healing.
And what you get is a thermal image as that round is passing through the rubber, and that's where it tracks the bullet, and that bullet and tracking is accurate to about a millimeter. So you can see where the hole is, and that's the crosshairs of the shots.
Oh, nice.
So you can see right where they hit. So that's how accurate that is in the tracking.
Nice.
So right on the money.
Yeah.
So
You said within
covering the.
yeah.
You said within a millimeter, huh?
Yep.
That's pretty good.
So pretty good. So on this we have our airflow here. So you get great airflow in these containers, and in the modular range setup it comes from our radial plenum there. And then downrange goes up through the intake here, up into the exhaust filter assembly. And then behind our vertical trap, it's also drawing air past the curtain and then coming up underneath and comes out through the top of the helical in the trap. And the helical actually takes and spins the round until it uses inertia, drops in a bucket. The lead dust is picked off and goes through the HEPA filter system on the outside. These meet all the OSHA, NIOSH, and NSSF air quality requirements.
Nice.
And have been tested all over the world. So we have about 300 of these out in the field.
Yeah, because that's the one thing that they, from a firearms instructor, from a firearms instructor point of view, the biggest issue we have is lead poisoning.
Correct.
Yes, with the exposure that we have to all these bullets,
and you'll see when you fire in this that everything from the firing line is moved in this direction. So we have about a 15-foot area behind the shooter where our plenum is. And that gives time for that air to settle out, and you get a nice cube of air in a laminar flow that moves downrange.
Nice.
Okay, so everything, all the smoke from the muzzle, any type of powder residues, everything's moving downrange. So, you know, you're not breathing anything in here. We have ranges, BDSC in Baghdad uses our range. They also have lead monitoring in there, and that thing never blows. I mean, and they're in there with belt-fed ammo and everything. So
I can tell you from my experience, teaching in 115-degree weather stocks, and I just taught a class in snow. In Reno.
Yeah.
So this would be this would be.
Well, the one that we have in Thule, Greenland, brings in minus 32-degree air, and in the 40 feet that the ducting brings it in, we have 7 stages of heat that bring it up to 68 degrees, and that's a one pass. So it's in and out, and so every ounce of air is treated before it comes in to bring it up there. When we were assembling the one in Baghdad, it was great because when we finally got power hooked up, we're in there working, and the guys that are going to operate the range come in there, and it's 62 degrees, and it's 115 outside. They're like, man, we're going to live in this thing, you know. So
how long does it take to set up? Like if you have a ship?
We did that. Klamath Falls, Oregon, which is our latest one. It's 14 lane, 25 meter range. From the time that the first module started landing, that's 21 modules. We had those landed in 3 days.
Wow.
Okay, and it takes about a 2-week assembly time on something that big. A single module like these, you have it in a couple hours after it lands if your electrician's there to do the hookups. We did Customs and Border Patrol in Fabians. They have a 4-lane, 25 meter. That was 7 days from the date that the first truck arrived to the date that they were firing in it.
That's cool.
So very quick turnaround. Manufacturing somewhere with our current supply chain stuff. Currently we're at the 120 to 210 day fab and ready to ship. And then depending on the size is what the time phase is. You know, our biggest ranges take up to 3 weeks to install. But typical MILCON type of builds on military bases, usually it's a 3-year project from the time of contracting to the time it ends.
Yeah.
We can be in and out in about 7 months from the start of fabrication.
This is way outside our customer base.
I was just gonna say, there might be a rich guy out there who wants one of these in his backyard.
So we can come back and look at this, and you guys can fire and see what you think.
Okay, cool.
So you can see we've got
That's awesome.
There's well over 850. Each one of these all of these can be escalated and de-escalated.
Yeah.
And then we have our GUI based. We also have our range environment, so we can run full courses of fire.
That's cool.
And we have a knowledge base, so we can start incorporating dash cam footage, body cam footage, case law, and go right into scenarios.
I love the fact that it's not always shoot. That's the biggest problem with training.
That's our
These
biggest.
young guys think it's always shoot. It's
Yep.
not.
So that active shooter, we're really growing this EDP folder, and it's all based on like the old days of
Emotionally
verbal judo.
disturbed, yeah.
So we're just talking them out. So, and then each one of these can also be escalated, de-escalated too. So we can have full-blown conversations.
Some of these look familiar to me.
Some of these are old ones that you've probably seen on our
Because I've
MILO
done
systems.
I've done this one before
Yep.
for sure.
This one, we keep them.
That's a good one though.
Some of them
That's a
look
good
like
one.
they're from the early 80s, but we're like, if there is and then we have, like, if we click on it, hit the information, it's straight policy and procedure on dealing with emotional disturbed suspects.
No, I love it, man.
So this is our mindset. When you're like, why the hell would they keep it? That's why.
Yeah.
So, yeah, any questions for me while I got you in here?
No, man, I'm thoroughly impressed. I love this system.
So you said this was the basic qualification range.
This is a basic.
Oh, okay, I
module,
see.
So it's static, meaning it's not made for you to be down past the firing line.
Mhm.
Everything's done at the firing line. This has basic toggle switch in and out operations on your targets. You have a light for your shooting tray down here. For
Modular though, because you can put it seems like you can put a projector up there.
this one's already pre-plumbed and has the cabinets for your MILO system.
Yeah, yeah.
This is also pre-plumbed and pre-wired for a research system if you're in an extreme environment, either high heat or cold environment. Okay?
You said this one runs about how much? Because it's basic.
This is about 209,000 plus shipping to wherever you want to deliver it. And it delivers as a complete unit. It is ready to fire in as soon as you hook power to it.
Set the foundation, drop it in, it's good to
Set the
go.
foundation. Some of them, if you got level ground or type 2 compacted, you can put it on a metal plate, or you can put it on footers if you're worried about meeting some drainage or flood control.
Mhm.
And rather than have a flood plan, you can put it on raised pylons so that the you're not changing how the water flows off the property you're putting it on and having any big expense there. So on this one, being all electric, or you could put a gas pack on there so you could have natural gas heating and electric.
That's a lot of options.
A lot of options, but it's pre-wired for all that. Currently, this is all electric, but you could swap that unit out on purchase to a gas pack, so that you could have gas heat and electric inline duct heat like this one does, and still have all the air handling set up on there. And then if it's on pylons, that's all you need. So you're going to connect power. If you have a gas pack, it'd be a natural gas add to it, and your gauges show you a negative range pressure, indicating that all the air is going down range. And if someone opens the door accidentally, it's fresh air coming in, not contaminated air going out. So all your contaminated air is moving down range.
That's one thing I did notice when
And
we were
then out.
shooting with live fire. You could not feel the pressure blast.
Right, everything's moving past you. And also, if you looked at your muzzle and looked at the smoke coming off the gun, it's all traveling downrange as well.
That's nice.
Okay, this gauge here, this magnehelic, is measuring the differential across your filters. So this is an indication of your filter condition.
I see.
So you know when to change your HEPA filters.
Yeah.
Okay?
Speaking of filters, so consumables, there's your lead filter, there's your air filter. What else is there?
Right, you have supply air filters, so you have pre-filters in there on your supply side. And then in the exhaust side of it, you have pre-filters as well, take out the big particles, and then your HEPA filters We ship all of our ranges out with a 99.97 HEPA, so a 3-micron filter. Our air coming out is cleaner than the air being brought in from outside.
Nice.
We don't even need to wear a mask.
You don't need to wear a mask, that's correct. And then the air is picked off in front of the ballistic curtain, in front of the trap. It's also picked up through the trap and then comes out through the helical. And all the dust particles, as the round is decelerating and scraping or whatever is happening in there as it's decelerating before it drops in the bucket, all that dust is picked off, ends up in the HEPA filters for disposal.
Yeah.
We have, in our filter rack assembly, we have 4 24 by 24 by 12 HEPA filters.
Wow.
And 4 2-inch 24 by 24 pre-filters. Pre-filters are going to be changed typical operation somewhere 2 to 3 weeks or monthly, quarterly on the filters if it's just standard use.
Yeah.
Some of our military ranges will double that usage. If you're running a full purge system and not any type of recirc, you can get away, I think the OSHA approved, you can get away with 95% HEPA filters. A little less expensive, and you're not trying to rebreathe any of that air.
Yeah.
So it's just going in and out, capturing all that. You have some hazardous waste disposal on your lead side.
Mhm.
So, and you also have lead management. So if you're cleaning your traps or emptying the bucket, technically you should be in your little Kydex throwaway suit and doing all your handling there and wearing a mask.
I'm speculating you have a dealer network, a contractor network for your maintenance.
There are a few out there. We don't recommend any one over the other.
Okay.
But there are several out there that do that specifically. Typical maintenance done by the range operators in your standard operating procedures. You have daily inspections, weekly, monthly, on everything that's going on in the range, and then typically your trap maintenance, where you're pulling off the lid, looking at the inside of the helical, looking for lead caking that you would scrape off, and then light lubrication on the baffle plates and the extension plates, as well as the helical. That's done quarterly, and you can do week. Depending on your usage, you may use it more.
You're talking about the owner does all these maintenance things, right?
Yeah, quarterly you might have someone come in and do additional work, like checking out your HVAC systems and cleaning the coils if you're like us in a high dust environment where the coils can be affected. Your efficiencies can be affected by dust and dirt in there. Checking your fan motor belts and lubing the motor shaft on the exhaust fan assembly. That kind of stuff may be more technical than your average range operator.
Yeah.
Everything else can pretty much be done by the operators.
Cool.
So,
Special license to operate any of these?
say again?
Is there a special license to operate one of these?
No. If you own it yourself, you can pretty much do what you want. If you're in a commercial environment, you're probably going to want to have an NRA certified range safety officer qualification, so that anyone in there is it's going to help you on the liability side. Plus, you can get insurance from the NRA for range operation and stuff like that. Again, we produce them. We typically don't manage them.
Yeah.
When it comes to operation, the SOP is either the environment or the customer's responsibility, as well as the environment that they're in. Whether it's if it's military, they typically have an environmental hygienist come in, look at the range as itself. Most of the time, we have third-party test and air balance companies come in and certify the air handling, so that when you're handing it off, you've met the requirements laid out by OSHA, NIOSH, and NSSF, and that's your baseline. Okay, whether they maintain that is up to them, and then they go through all the procedures that they need and develop their own SOP for operation and maintenance. You can see some that are well maintained, some that are not. But we carry a supply line of everything that we manufacture. Everything is done right here in-house in Las Vegas.
It's made here.
At North Las Vegas.
Oh, awesome.
So you guys are free to come by and look at our operation.
Another
our
question.
Fire in our range.
Are there any zoning restrictions as far as where you can put one of these?
There are probably, and you have to check with the local stuff.
Okay.
I mean, there's Las Vegas Metro has 2 of our forensics labs. One's in their office complex within the office cubicles, and one is in a back like garage section of the building that they use off at the airport. We have some that are very specialized for test facilities. We have manufacturers, Springfield Armory, Ruger, Ruger Brazil, Nodak Arms, High Point Firearms, have function fire ranges that we built for them. So they're out there in various forms. We have over 300 modules delivered. Wow. Some of them, like the ones we were talking about with the Air National Guards, 21 module lane gets you 14 lanes of operation with a control room at 25 meter shooting distance. And again, we can field those in well under a year.
Our biggest issue up north is because we have an outdoor range with turning targets and stuff, control room and everything. Our biggest problem really is the maintenance of the turning targets because they get shot all the time.
Right.
Yes.
Well, there's a couple roads to go. This is our basic hard rail, still cable operated, toggle switch, and then we have and supply 360-degree turnable targets, wireless target carriers, programmable coursifers, and uniform control, so you can control multiple lanes at the same time. You can relinquish control from the operators from the control room. You can give them control. You have intercom availability. We also offer standard easy lighting, which is just the toggle switches that show your downrange silhouette, your ready area, your range lighting, and your hot light. But we also have, like in the range that you guys were shooting in, has 100% programmable lighting throughout. Every light fixture has its own IP address, and it goes from 0 to whatever, okay, in brightness. Our control room, you can go to the red LED setups in the range ready area and in the control room for low light work. In the secret service range, which is 50 meters, when they ask if we could go total dark, we went bank, and there is absolutely no light in there. So they go in there with their low light, low vis stuff, thermal imaging, and low light scopes, and they have a field day with it. So it's a lot of versatility in the 2 bay setups. Yeah. And the ready areas are all uniform. It's a wide open ready area across the lanes, but each 2-lane segment in our bays make for a very versatile situation where you can have different types of training going on simultaneously lane to lane. You can have guys in a tactical 2-lane bay, and guys doing long rifle stuff or belt fed stuff in one area, prone. Other guys doing tactical downrange stuff and not interfering with each other whatsoever.
That's awesome.
The other thing is every 2 lanes has its own air handling system, its own main disconnect, its own exhaust fan assembly. So if you have any type of equipment problems that affect one section, it doesn't take your whole range down. Yeah. You can also do trap maintenance at the same time that the rest of the range is operating when you take two lanes at a time. And we also make them so that they're expandable and contractible in 2-lane segments. So we can take a 14-lane range that's in existence and it's being moved somewhere or wants to be moved. We just moved a 6-lane range at Camp Lejeune and are refurbishing it. It's an 11-year-old range, and it's moving to a new location, and it's in the midst of getting refurbed with the latest target retrieval, programmable lighting, and stuff like that. The armor doesn't go bad, but we can go back through and refurb everything and put fresh equipment in it, and we can reconfigure it at that time if we want,
retrofit,
or at another time.
Pretty much retrofitted with new gear,
and more lanes. Yeah. So we can just extend onto that. We have cut out unboltable sections so that we can add those features to it. Yeah. We can take a pre-existing lane, a 12-lane range or 14-lane range, and break it up into segments in modules of 2s. So makes it very versatile when you're shipping it overseas, and we do a lot of overseas installations. It makes it very easy to communicate with logistics companies. They understand what the form factor is. You don't have to say it's a container or a module or whatever. They understand when they see it what it is, and logistics people, you don't have to explain anything. And all on our ranges that are single like this, it ships with the equipment on the top, no way to get it inside. On our longer ranges where the midsections are empty 40s that are armored down with all your baffle plates and everything, but we got room to put our AC equipment in, our duct work, all the tools for the installation. and it all gets closed up and shipped, and all that gets on the other side, and then we land the modules and then put all the topside equipment on
Cool.
inside. So they're very good for getting into remote locations. So we've got these on 5 going on 6 continents. So we're getting there.
The only limit is how much money you got. Right?
Yeah, what the need is.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a different need and a different pocketbook. So
This is an agency level customer.
yeah. No, we have
Private individuals?
Business.
many private individuals.
Yeah. I can imagine
Yeah.
a ranch having something like this. That'd be nice.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
know. Not even ranches, even close by your residential.
Oh,
areas.
really?
Wow.
Yeah. They,
As long as they get the right permits, right?
shooting 9mm. Typical outside noise ratio is only 8 dB over ambient,
Oh, wow.
so
Yeah,
it's very quiet.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we were listening to. We were right outside when they were the prior group doing their training, and yeah, it was like the guy said, it was just like somebody hammering inside
Right.
a house.
Or doing an air nailer like you're in your garage,
Yeah, that's it.
putting together
Yeah.
furniture.
That's
or
it.
something. Yeah,
Just throw a suppressor on you.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, very
Nobody-
quiet.
No, nothing.
So,
Cool.
anyways,
Thank
that's
you.
Yeah,
how
that's
it all
awesome,
goes.
man.